Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Language of Leadership. I'm your host, Chuck Marty. In this week's episode, I wanted to cover a topic that has come up with some conversations that I've had with some leaders, something that some are very passionate about, some are very bewildered as to how they're going to deal with this issue, and what is the best approach for them to take in addressing this. So, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about a new kind of leadership, and that's teaching your team members to teach themselves. In this modern workplace, successful leadership is no longer about controlling outcomes or micromanaging processes. Instead, it's about empowering the teams to take initiative, think critically, and grow independently. When leaders cultivate this type of mindset, they unlock a workforce's potential and they enable creativity and innovation and also resilience. You see, at the heart of this is the philosophy that lies a powerful skill, teaching team members to teach themselves. So, in this episode, I want to dive into strategies that leaders can employ to instill self reliance in their team, but also be able to explore actionable approaches, share real life examples of leaders who've embraced these principles, and also be able to illustrate a transformational impact for organizations. And finally, I want to conclude with a compelling vision for the future of leadership and self-driven teams. With that, let's get started. So, the why behind self-sufficient teams is important. It's the ability of team members to solve problems and take action without constantly seeking approval. And it just isn't convenient by them not doing that. It's a necessity. So here's why this approach is so vital in today's fast moving world. First, we have to adapt to change. Markets, technologies, industries are all evolving rapidly. Teams that can adapt independently are better equipped to handle uncertain and seize opportunities. Enhancing productivity is crucial. When employees aren't bogged down waiting for instructions, they can act decisively and efficiently. We also have to look at building confidence in ownership. When we empower employees, they are more likely to take on ownership of their roles, contributing to a stronger and more engaging workforce. So I want to give you a case in point. Patagonia is an outdoor apparel company and is renowned for encouraging its employees to be stewards of the company's values and initiatives. The founder, Yvon Chouinard, has fostered a workplace where employees feel empowered to take bold steps to address environmental issues such as halting product lines that weren't sustainable and then investing in resources into the ecological activism that they look at. The autonomy has helped Patagonia maintain its mission in its culture while inspiring their employees to grow and act with confidence. The other part of this is real life examples of leaderships that have empowered their teams. So I want to look at PepsiCo. The CEO of PepsiCo, Andrea Nui, is a champion of empowering employees to make decisions aligned with the company's goals. She has introduced a Performance with Purpose program, which was an initiative that encouraged teams to focus on sustainable and socially responsible programs. Noe provided a framework, but trusted employees to take the lead in executing their strategies. This enabled them to contribute meaningfully to PepsiCo's mission. What about Elon Musk? Well, Elon Musk decentralized problem solving at SpaceX. He fostered a culture of radical ownership at SpaceX. Engineers are encouraged to propose solutions and take initiative, even if it means bypassing the traditional hierarchies. For instance, during a crucial rocket development, a junior engineer independently identified a material defect and implemented a solution that saved millions in streamlined production. Elon Musk's willingness to trust team members and experts has been instrumental in SpaceX's groundbreaking achievements. Well, what about Amazon? Jeff Bezos introduced the concept of two pizza teams. This is where small autonomous groups are empowered to own projects and make decisions independently. This structure not only reduces the bureaucracy, but it also encourages innovation and personal accountability. A prime example of this is the creation of Amazon Prime, which emerged from a small team's initiative to explore new ways to enhance customer loyalty. The third thing I want to talk about is leadership strategies to foster self-sufficiency. Building self-sufficient teams doesn't happen overnight. It requires deliberate strategies that encourage learning, decision making, and initiative. So, how do you encourage a growth mindset? Well, that mindset, leaders must inspire team members to see challenges as opportunities for growth. This involves reframing failures as learning moments and rewarding effort, persistence, and creativity. An example of this is a tech company that where the CEO implements a failure wall, where employees post lessons learned from projects that didn't succeed. Fostering a culture of resilience and continuous improvement is going to go a long way. You also have to offer guidance, not answers. And this is very hard for leaders. When team members seek advice, you have to resist the urge to provide solutions outright. Instead, you have to ask questions that guide them towards their own conclusions. An example of this is a marketing director where, when he is asked for input on a campaign, responds with, "What do you think the customer would feel about this message? How could we test that hypothesis?" Third, you have to foster peer-led learning. And we've talked about that before here on the language of leadership. But peer-led learning encourages employees to learn from one another. And they do this through mentorship programs or even cross-functional collaborations where they're working with other teams. A real life example is a retail company that pairs experienced sales associates with new hires, not to shadow, but to co-lead the program solving exercises. This allows both to develop their critical thinking and also their collaboration skills. The fourth thing is we have to give permission to act. Explicitly communicate with your team members. Give them the authority to make decisions within their roles. Leaders should empower rather than control in this situation. Another example would be the Ritz-Carlton hotels. Employees are authorized to spend up to $2,000 per guest to resolve complaints or create exceptional experiences. This trust ensures employees take proactive steps to enhance customer satisfaction. But then we have to look at things like navigating challenges and teaching that self-sufficiency. So when you're empowering teams to teach themselves, it can become transformational and it can also present some challenges. First, the fear of overstepping. You may have employees that might hesitate to take initiative if they're unsure about their boundaries. So you have to provide clear guidelines about decision making, authority, and creating a safe space to discuss their concerns. Next, what about uneven skill development? You may have some team members that may struggle to adapt to a self-sufficient mindset. One of the solutions to this is to offer tailored coaching to help team members build their confidence and the skills they need and to be able to create autonomy. The third thing is leading and letting leaders let go. Leaders are accustomed to micromanaging and they might find it difficult to step back. So the focus on outcomes rather than processes needs to be reminded, and you need to remind yourself and re-evaluate your role to help guide and to offer less control. The next thing is the ripple effect of empowerment. The benefits of fostering self-sufficient teams extends far beyond individual employees. Organizations that embrace this approach reap numerous rewards. So, first, let's look at agility and innovation. Independent teams are more likely to experiment, adapt, and drive innovation. Google 20% time policy, which led to the creation of Gmail and Google Maps, exemplifies how autonomy fosters groundbreaking ideas. It has enhanced employee retention as well. So employees who feel trusted and valued are more likely to stay with the organization. Companies like Zappos, which prioritizes employment empowerment and consistently ranks among the best places for people to work. You have to develop stronger leadership pipelines. Employees who learn to teach themselves are better prepared for leadership roles because they ensure a robust succession plan by doing the things they're allowed to do. A powerful ending is the legacy of leadership. So, teaching team members to teach themselves is not just a skill, it's a legacy. When leaders empower their teams, they create a ripple effect that extends beyond the immediate workplace. So, employees who learn to take initiative, solve problems, and grow independently, they carry these skills into every aspect of their lives and it inspires others in turn. So, a case in point would be the tenure as CEO for Xerox, Anne McCalkey. She saved the company from bankruptcy by empowering employees at all levels to rethink their roles and contribute to strategic solutions. She emphasized that leadership has a shared responsibility, urging her team to take ownership of the company's transformation. This not only rescued Xerox, but it also built a culture of resilience and innovation that endured long after her departure. You know, my final thoughts on this are that most enduring leaders are not those who build their own empires, but those who cultivate others to build their own. By teaching team members to teach themselves, leaders invest in a future where autonomy, creativity, and collaboration are going to thrive. It's a future where leadership becomes a shared language and success becomes a shared achievement. So, as you step back and you empower your team, you'll find that your influence multiplies because true leadership is not about holding the reins tightly. It's about teaching others how to ride. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of The Language of Leadership. And if so, please share this. I'd love to read your comments on this episode and also rate this podcast to help us grow and to be able to rank within the podcast to help it get more gain with other areas within the leadership areas of podcasts and to help us remain at the top of our game in what we bring to you each and every week. So until next week, when we bring you another episode of The Language of Leadership, I want you to take care. Thank you.